This is KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guests today are from the Old Creamery Theatre, the upcoming production of Million Dollar Quartet. Say hi to Morgan McDowell and to Sarah Hoch. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And the Million Dollar Quartet is, of course, a pretty famous musical show, although Sarah, you mentioned that the rights have just become available, so it's one that you've really only been able to see in places like Vegas and Chicago for a long time.
The 8-year run in Chicago just ended, so I think that's why all the regional theaters are able to do it now.
Yes.
Exciting.
So for those who aren't familiar, Morgan, who is the Million Dollar Quartet?
Well, the Million Dollar Quartet is Elvis, which I play Elvis, Carl Perkins, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Johnny Cash.
And this is, tell me a little bit about the story.
Well, it's these four men and Elvis's girlfriend Diane, and they get together at Sun Studios in Memphis with Sam Phillips, and it's just kind of the story of really them being together and Elvis wanting to get back with Sun Records and everyone else kind of leaving, and it's like a transitional period for Sam Phillips, the man who owns the record company.
Is it based somewhat in truth?
It's a true story.
Well, there's this event actually happened. All of the script is fabricated.
Yeah.
But the event happened. There's like a really famous picture of all four of them around the piano.
Right.
And there are real life recordings of them kind of jamming in the studio.
Working together.
All four of them that night. And it was just kind of by chance. It was like a little reunion party.
Yeah.
Because at this point, Elvis was already pretty famous, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, he was definitely the most famous out of the four of them. And
but he was pretty new in his success. Right?
Yeah, he was 21 when it happened. So, young guy. He had just signed with RCA at the time because Sam had to sell him to RCA.
Okay, sure. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Sarah, it sounds like a lot of testosterone in the room.
Oh my goodness!
Tell me about the character of Diane.
Diane, so she's Elvis's girlfriend, and she's based on a woman named Marilyn Evans. Actually, the woman in the real photo was named Marilyn Evans, and Marilyn Evans, was a Vegas dancer, and so she and Elvis met when he was doing shows there. But I think for the purpose of it being a musical and not having many big dance numbers, they turned Marilyn into Diane. So I get to sing a couple songs. They asked if I want to be on the tape amidst many male jokes.
Yes, it is.
So does what about the relationship between Elvis and Diane? I mean, does it definitely foreshadow the fact that this is not something that's going to last? Sorry, spoilers. He doesn't marry Diane.
He doesn't marry Diane. It's so tragic. It doesn't really.
No,
though.
It seems pretty serious in the show. Because he's taking her. The reason why he's there really is he's taking her to see his parents.
Yeah.
So.
I guess in the real life story, she and Elvis were dating in Vegas for a few weeks, and then he went away, and they were kind of doing over the phone sort of long distance relationship. I don't know how exclusive it was, but then he called and invited her down it was over Christmas, to be with his family over the holidays. So I think that apparently he liked her because she was real. She wasn't just like a Vegas showgirl. That's what he said. Talking
with Morgan and Sarah about the Million Dollar Quartet opening next week at the Old Creamery Theatre in Amana. So Morgan, talk to me about Elvis.
Well,
how do you play that character without slipping into caricature?
Well, it's really daunting because it's Elvis Presley, so it's very difficult, and I find solace in the fact that I kind of get to make the character my own, even though it's Elvis Presley. And I think the easiest way for me to execute it in the way that doesn't come off as like an impersonator is to kind of just know that he's from Tennessee, and this is the accent he would have, and I have like a little bit of his voice in my voice, but it's not like I'm impersonating Elvis, especially because the Elvis that most people know was
he came later
in Vegas.
Yeah.
later in like the 70s.
And this was pre-movies and.
Well, this is right after his first couple movies.
Oh, it is. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And Hollyweird, as Carl Perkins said.
Carl Perkins says I come from Hollyweird.
And you said you watched all those videos too,
Yes.
and where he would break character and you would see who he really was.
I love that. I sat down after I got cast and I watched. Well, I started by watching like some of his movies and some of just videos of him performing, and that was good to get down like the way he moves when he performs. But then I found a video that was like a compilation of the bloopers from his '69 comeback special, and it was really interesting to watch him mess up and then drop the Elvis facade. And that's, I think, the most important thing about this show is that he's not being like show-offy Elvis in the show. It's just him hanging out with his friends. And I think that's the most important thing about the show, is it's just these four guys who were probably the most influential people in rock and roll, just jamming out and like have no, they don't care. They're not famous there. They're just people hanging out with other people.
What about instrumentation? Do you play?
Yes.
Do you all play the instruments, or?
We do. I play guitar. Johnny Cash plays guitar. Carl Perkins plays 2 guitars, and then Jerry Lee plays all the piano stuff.
We have a drummer and a stand-up bass player as well.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Who are also involved.
Yeah, and they were real people as well.
They were.
They were Carl's band, right?
Yeah, Carl's
Right.
brother and his drummer.
Oh, sure, yeah. So tell me a little bit about your careers prior to this. Sarah, where are you from?
I am from Massachusetts originally, but I actually went to Drake in Des Moines.
Oh, okay.
And then I've been living in Chicago kind of on and off for the past almost 4 years. Came to do this here, and I'm going to be in Greece as well. I'm at Old Creamery in the fall. And then I'm actually moving to New York.
Oh,
yeah.
Very
Awesome.
good. Morgan?
Yeah, well, I'm from Virginia, and I went to college at Shenandoah University in Winchester, Virginia, and I just graduated on the 14th of May.
Oh, my.
Yeah, so
You were learning lines and
Yes.
taking finals all at the same time.
Absolutely. It's the way
Well,
I
that's the
roll.
life of a theater major, so.
Yep.
Definitely. That's been my whole life. And I graduated, drove home to my hometown, like just an hour and a half south of my school, and then I drove 14 hours here to start rehearsals on the 17th. So it was crazy. It was pretty insane. But I have never driven so far in my life. But I didn't hate it, actually. I think I kind of enjoyed it. And it was cool to come to a different place. I've never been out here. I've never been this far west. But my friends were just in New York City, actually, because they all wanted to go up to try and find apartments. But I had to come right out here. And I have an apartment in New York City right now. So as soon as I'm done here, I'll make a little money at home and then move right up there. So that's what's in the running for me.
So Million Dollar Quartet opens June 2nd and runs pretty much through the month.
Yeah.
Close on the 26th.
At the Old Creamery Theatre. And now the show times are a little different than, they kind of have their own schedule. It's very consistent if you go to a lot of Old Creamery stuff.
Exactly.
But because the matinees are at 3 o'clock,
They're
I think.
at 2,
or 2 o'clock.
Wednesday and Thursday and
Yeah.
Sunday at 2.
And then
Friday and
shows.
Saturday at 7:30.
7:30.
And of course, you can visit the website if you're looking for specific show information. So before we close, what's your favorite moment of the show so far? Sarah, you start.
Oh gosh, what's my favorite moment? I think there's one song in Act 2, Let's Have a Party, that we all just get to have so much fun and like harmonize, and I don't know, I just love that part.
That is so much fun.
Yeah.
But
Morgan, how about you?
I think that at the very end of the show, we all bow and we have our own like thing at the end of the show, but then we come back and we do like a rock concert. So each of
Nice.
us get to do, each of the quartet gets to do their own song as if they were in a concert setting, and we just go crazy and jam out and get to be our characters.
You got to be a rock star for a day.
And it is so much fun, especially with these guys and everyone involved. It's been a really great experience so far. Like, across the board, everyone, stage managers, director, everything. It's been wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, glad you're having good experience at the Old Creamery. It's one of our favorite theaters here in the east part of Iowa. Morgan and Sarah from the upcoming Old Creamery Theatre production of Million Dollar Quartet, thanks so much for coming in. Again, oldcreamery.com if you would like more information. And good luck with the run.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.